The job, the ability to survive, how my infidelity trial went. I have 7 years with my wife. 1.5 years ago, we tied the knot. Due to work obligations, we had only spent around 2 months together over the past 2 years. 4 months ago was when we last met. Over the past 6 months, she has been lowering the amount of interaction that we have. We had a lot of arguments because of this, which enraged me. She didn't get along with my family either, and she held me responsible for not giving her any emotional support. She told me a few weeks ago that she no longer cares about me and has no feelings for me. She believes that we both deserve better companions and is adamant about getting a divorce. She has been going out on the weekends with a mix of her male and female pals for the past 8.5 months. However, she would become irate and refuse to tell me who was present if I inquired. She said hurtful things, and I responded with hurtful words. She would occasionally be mean when we first started dating, but I would always remain cool. However, I was now really irate. My wife once took a 2-day trip with her pals and didn't give me a single call. I gave her a call about 40 times, but she never answered. Even at 10 p.m., she didn't pick up my phone. Instead, she spoke with her parents. The last time we met, she refused to sleep with me. It had never happened before, but this year she neglected to wish me a happy birthday. We had been having issues for the past year since she thought I wasn't taking on enough of her role. She wants to complete her divorce the week after our next meeting, which is in a month. She informed me that although she needs to start again and that it will take some time, I suffocate her and that she will lose who she is if she has to live with me. I have some inquiries for all of you who are patient. First, do we have any hope? Secondly, what should I do while waiting? In 1 month, I'll see her. 3. When we meet, what should I tell her? 4. What more assistance should I seek? I was only informed when she paid me a visit. While I was out, she was on the phone with this guy a lot. That concludes it. I have had a conversation with her. I also discovered the evidence of her adultery. I feel as though I've lost touch with the person I once adored, and like that individual never happened. She said that she had not previously told me out of concern that, should I find out, I would challenge the divorce. If she could express any regret, I would have forgiven her. Still, I would welcome her return. I had already forgiven her twice for E, and on the third occasion, I did so once more. However, she doesn't feel guilty and wants to end our marriage. She would thus get her wish fulfilled. I refuse to live my entire life with someone who can make another person live a life filled with self-loathing and suffering in order to satisfy her own self-serving desires. But if she undergoes some sort of miraculous metamorphosis, it may be game on once more. I've stopped talking to her. I actually begged her to stay off my radar for a month. Things are improving, but the worst of it is in the mornings. Sometimes unexpectedly, life can take unexpected turns. I have no doubt that I will emerge from it a better person. That's what I hope for my STBX. We were forced into a career together. We need to put up with a brief period of separation in order to live the life we had planned together. I felt that our tie was strong because we were together for 5 years prior to getting married. I put too much stock in it. We were both aware of what was ahead. The ironic thing is that after we had to move out, she was the one who wanted to get married as quickly as possible. I begged her to move in with me as well. Coming here and getting a better opportunity would have been far easier for her. We would have been so wealthy after I finished what I was doing that she would have even had the option to not work. I chose to get married because I love her and I believed she loved me too. The reason for the dual residence is not compulsion. I believed that because we had so many aspirations over the years, our love could conquer all obstacles. Again, miscommunication on my part. Even I still find it hard to believe. How was she able to harm me? I have one last question. Why? She still won't give it to me. It seems to be genetic to me. I've heard that her mother may have struggled with something similar. This was undoubtedly her older sister's issue. She had experienced it twice previously. I opted to ignore all of those signals because I was so overcome by love and deceived by its appeal. I have some news. 2 weeks have passed after my wife Ka was discovered, and it's likely that I'm completely 180 degrees. She sent me a message today asking to speak with me for 2 minutes. She texted me instead of calling. I want to know if I should contact her or let her call. My instinct tells me to just sit tight and carry out my task. I don't care if I stay married or not at this point, and I'm going to file for divorce on my own if I don't feel regret. Within the next few weeks, I will be in her city. I would be grateful for any assistance. The text is as follows. May I have 2 minutes to speak with you? I also gave her and her family a month's notice not to disturb me following the finding. Furthermore, I informed her the last time we spoke, which was approximately 2 weeks ago, that I would grant her divorce because she is so deserving of one and doesn't accept responsibility for the E, but it will happen when I am ready, not at the OMS or her convenience. If nothing changes until I get there, I've made the decision to file. I'm in full divorce mode right now. The last time we spoke, she seemed at least somewhat repentant, and I don't think that will alter significantly in the next 2 weeks. That is not how her genetic code is encoded. I suppose she wants to talk to me about getting a divorce as soon as possible. Yes, I can't wait to fling it in her direction. While I still have the ability, I will run. I wanted to file it, too. It might not be legal in my own country, though, and if my in-laws decide to change their minds, the case could end up in the highest court and take a long time to resolve. Since our native nation has different marriage laws than ours, the divorce must comply with those rules. I suppose I will just be there and finish everything quickly because I will be there in 2 weeks. Sincerely, I don't want to spend a penny more on this relationship than absolutely necessary. I would wish to exit with minimal damage as I had already committed too much. Just a heads up. She then begged for her divorce over the phone. I restated my previous statement, saying that I will give it to her as soon as I get there. She was attempting to explain to me that she hadn't told me before because she didn't want to damage me. Correct. Who would have thought that the easiest method to avoid hurting your spouse is to cheat? I also wanted to know if they had become physical. She started assigning blame after declaring she didn't want to discuss it. So it turns out that you were correct all along. I discovered via my that it was Pa, a classic cheater script, a month ago. She desires a manly package, and she desires it now. I would rather live alone for the rest of my days than share even a single day with someone like that. I simply let go of everything and told her that I would no longer be a doormat and that she had cheated on me in the past. It is a good thing, and a blessing in disguise, that she now desires to pursue the greener grass. She made the standard justifications about how unhappy she was and how I wasn't getting enough support to stick with me. Even though I constantly invited her to stay with me, I didn't put any pressure on her to do so since I didn't want her to give up her profession for me and try to blame me for everything. I accepted that I was partially to blame for both the positive and negative aspects of our relationship, but I denied any involvement in her adultery. Monogamy is a decision that people must learn to make, rather than investing the necessary time to address the issues that caused her to be unhappy in the relationship. She chose to cheat, and she bears full responsibility for her actions. She used to invest the time and effort to build a new relationship rather than conversing with me. How similar are all of the people who eat cake? She seems to be in a rush because I have a sneaking suspicion that she may be pregnant. Oh, and I also questioned her about why she was so miserable and why she had kept it from me. She was at a loss for words. How in the hell? My STBXW's parents called and begged me to keep her living with me instead of divorcing her. Is this the Stone Age? It'd be that the has lost interest in her. Do they still believe that I am a doormat? My in-laws didn't help me when the affair was first beginning. I kept asking them why, even on the weekends, my STBX was not chatting to me or initiating video chats. She was constantly going out with the other man instead of communicating with me. Even after their daughter sought for a divorce, my in-laws did not want to talk to their daughter or take any action to mend our relationship. They frequently assured my parents that they would act in their daughter's best interest, but they were incredibly ambiguous. They could not have been unaware of what was happening. They were the ones who initially informed my family that they had no intention of keeping us married. Now that they've spoken with the man, they must have learned something unpleasant. I have no idea what it is, and I don't give a damn. It doesn't matter to me what they desire or don't desire. If only my STBX could acknowledge her actions and at least display some regret. Although I would have welcomed her back in a heartbeat, she continues to avoid accepting accountability and just assigns blame. Here, I am the king and this is my life. I have been far too agreeable and have allowed her to control the relationship for far too long. She had to come back to me on my terms if she wanted to. I won't cry over it anymore and I won't beg her to return because it didn't happen. Regardless of how much her family or mine want me to do it, she is free to pursue her happiness, and I am no longer concerned about it. Simply said, I'm not divorcing her. In addition, I'm ending my relationship with her family. The problem is, I no longer believe her, even if she does express regret. I doubt I will ever be able to believe her. I had a hunch that the other man might be pulling out now, based on our last conversation. I was feeling pity instead of love. She's gotten much too close. I've informed all of our shared friends and family members about it. It will be exceedingly difficult for her to return, even if she decides to do so now for whatever reason. She lacks the bravery, in my opinion, to endure a lifetime of criticism from those who are aware of what she did. She intends to proceed with the divorce and most likely relocate to a new city. I've told others about it in my family and friend networks. These items catch on like wildfire. That, in my opinion, is the reason the may be reconsidering today. I haven't disclosed it to the world on Facebook just yet since I don't want her to reconsider getting a divorce and drag things out. There are only 2 ways to get a divorce in my nation: mutual agreement or disagreement. I'm eager to end our relationship as soon as feasible. I'm in one of those phases of my life right now. I can't allow my mind to be pummeled. I work at a job where I can't afford to make poor decisions on a daily basis. Thus, I have 2 choices: either give in to my suffering and anguish or rise up, take charge of my life, and resist. Have I yet to leave the woods entirely? Not by accident. Even now, mornings are the toughest. I still get depressed every time I hear a romantic song, but I'll overcome it. Some updates. 1. I'm spending the holidays back in my native nation. My STBX sent me a draft of my divorce filing as soon as it got here. Regarding how long we have been apart, she and her attorney lied. Since we haven't seen each other in 5 months, to be honest, they are making it into a year in order to expedite the divorce process. I informed her that I would not be kept as a hostage for the rest of my life and that I would not lie under oath. She needs to be honest if she wants a divorce. Sincerity, even if not right now. When after that. 3. Her family has changed their minds and is now requesting that I not sign the documents. Something must have happened, even though I'm not sure what. Perhaps they are simply portraying good cops as evil cops. I no longer have faith in anyone. 4. We've done a very excellent job of lawyering up by taking all the necessary steps. 5. 2 days ago, she was supposed to give me a call to discuss the necessary modifications to the divorce agreement. However, I have not yet received a call. 6. With full awareness of her own family, she met with the Am family and requested their blessings for the impending marriage. What sort of parents allowed their son to start seeing a married lady even before the marriage had lasted a year, and what type of parents allowed their married daughter to pursue Am? Then, everything is about money and fleeting joy. 7. I hope that everyone gets what they deserve and that the misdeeds of their parents are paid for by their offspring. I therefore speak with her and her family. I've insisted that she pay back the money and all of the ornaments right away. Additionally, I've asked her to reimburse me for all of the expenses I incurred during our marriage. She wants to discuss about this when she gets my signature. Well, that's the end of Mr. Nice Guy. The amusing thing is that I sensed the other man was present and was directing the entire discussion. The power of the entire conversation switched back to me the instant I requested her to let him speak to me. We never expected to learn so much about life. She turned getting married into a business. Let's conduct business. It's going to be enjoyable. Go ahead and do it. I'm going to be here for a few weeks. As soon as they comply with all of my requests, I plan to sign the documents before I depart. The other man is a man I know. Both my STBX and the other man are employed by an MNC, but he holds a higher level than she does. She probably hasn't told him everything either, or she has twisted things to fit her own agenda. Some of the Am's family members have already been told, but I think they are focusing on my STBX's pay and will allow them to be married no matter what. I've made an effort to find out Am's family members' phone numbers, but so far nothing has turned up. I believe the parents of my STBX are now indifferent. They are supporting their daughter and myself too. They are content regardless of the outcome. DRR. Furthermore, you would think that parents would instill morals in their kids and force them to choose right over wrong. They have always been informed by me. I have been pleading with them for assistance for the past year, but they have not responded. They continue to support their daughter even after I was informed of the affair. I quoted one of my favorite passages from a novel ever. Today's movie. To be honest, my love, I don't give a damn when she asks me why I am being so careless, talking about material things, and interfering with her and the Am's eternal pleasure. For the past 7 years, I have guarded her from everything. Not any longer. Greetings from the woods. I hope this place is enjoyable for you. I regretfully cannot expose her at this time. My bargaining leverage will be diminished if my STBX loses her job now, which is highly likely to happen and will also greatly lessen her prospects of finding another employment of the same caliber. But as soon as the paperwork is done and I obtain what I want, I'll go all nuclear on them. I don't even want to look at her in 1,000 births since I am so over her. I consider marriage vows to be holy, and she broke one of my most treasured possessions. I told her over and over again not to cheat on me, and to call it quits on our romance before betraying me. Nevertheless, she took the action that she knew would cause me the most pain. I'll exact revenge on them for their transgressions. They are noticing that I have already begun to do it. I just haven't let them know how angry I am yet. I have already struck them hard in the area of money that I know will hurt them the most. Very soon, the other facets of their lives will likewise be completely destroyed. She gave me a call today. She pretended to be modest, saying that all she could do was ask that I sign the documents as quickly as possible. Not until I get my demands fulfilled, I said. She accused me of being her cheater once more. In addition, my mother attempted to speak with her and my STBX revealed her true nature. She was now accusing my mother of being unfaithful. Yes, I understand, everyone but her is to blame for her infidelity. Well, yesterday was the day I finally filed for divorce, 2 weeks later. At first, my ex-wife W was unable to even look me in the eye while she was there with her cunning father. It will require an additional 6 to 7 months for the judge to visit with us and provide a decision. It's time for a much-needed change of direction and a better existence. Although the path has not been easy, many worthwhile lessons have been learned. On the day of filing, we didn't communicate at all. The attorneys handled everything. She called me this morning, the day after she filed for divorce. Don't be depressed, I'm not. Don't cry, I don't need to. Marry a good girl, life's a trip, we'll see what transpires. I just got a call from my almost ex-W again. She is saying all the usual things, like if you succeed in what you are doing, you will eventually have children and a family, and so on. She was always inquiring about my activities and how I was doing. All I could do was wish her the very best for her upcoming marriage and family life. She broke down in tears and declared, I'm going to get those too. I simply stated that I shall receive everything God desires for me. She said that she was no longer able to be accountable to anyone. I said to terminate the call that everyone has to face the consequences of the decisions they make. She will face hers as I face mine. I did, however, wish her luck in her new life. I'm going to stop communicating with her. People are right, though, and I had assumed she was going to discuss some impending settlements. I would much better let the attorneys handle such matters and stop having these pointless discussions. I received 2 calls from my almost ex yesterday. For the first time, I missed the call since I was in class. Didn't return her call. She contacted me a second time at around 1:30 in the evening. I answered on the spur of the moment, not even checking the number. She inquired about my well-being and the progress of my job. I gave 1 or 2 words answers to everything. I'm going to tell her not to bother me with cheap talk the next time she phones. Oh no, I wish I hadn't been so drowsy when I took the call. I also considered cutting off all communication with her. Still, I believe that my greatest retaliation will be to demonstrate how excellent I am performing. Update: I am thus going back into the dating scene. The divorce will be finalized next year after the divorce papers have been filed. I need to regain my confidence and keep improving as a guy in the interim. A little stale now. I believed I would never have to play this game again because I hadn't had to do it for the previous 7 years. But now that I'm back at it, I believe I'm going to enjoy it. Especially because this time, I won't be expecting anything from anyone. Life is too short to waste away wallowing in the past. Instead, make the most of it now. Let the past go, it's a sunk cost. I understand the dangers of jumping in too quickly. Still, I believe I will come to appreciate the dark side. Story 2. My spouse had an affair, but I'm not sure if it was an emotional or physical affair based on what I saw online. He told me that he had a crush on her in high school and that he had always wanted to sleep with her. TH and I went through a difficult period in our marriage because we had to adjust to a lot of unwelcome changes. First, he has a 10-year-old kid who resides with us full-time. 2 years after we first met, his son's mother tragically and foolishly passed away. 3. We relocated to a new place. 4. Had a female child. 5. I left my ideal job to take care of her. 5. I became lonely after starting a daycare at my house. 6. DH shortly after our daughter was born, Dad took a job that required him to travel constantly. 7. DH has ate and a severe addiction to filthy videos. Our relationship and I suffered greatly as a result of everything. I won't go into detail on why the affair happened in order to get to my point for publishing. However, it did. I have admitted that I am aware of where my husband was during the affair. We weren't exactly content, and I understood why he was looking for attention elsewhere. This does not, in my opinion, justify his actions. It was incorrect. DH had no intention of disclosing the affair to me. That took place in September of 2018, the week of his birthday. I called him on it a few times that week since I knew something was wrong. He angrily denied everything and blamed me for implying that he had been unfaithful, something that now enraged me. A few months later, I heard an inner voice telling me to double-check my theories, and that's when I saw the phone records and learned about the affair. When I confronted DH, he came clean. That night, I decided to stay at a friend's place because I was sick of being cooped up in my house. In response to each of the issues I listed above, my spouse has shown regret, offered an apology, responded to inquiries, and taken action. He told me that although he had an affair, they did not share a bed. He claimed that as soon as she entered the room, he stopped doing everything because he recognized he was wrong. He added that after a few occasions, she got in touch with him, but he told her it was finished. I have every indication that he is telling the truth. She has been removed from both his life and social media. I believe he's being sincere, blah. I'm currently working on building trust, and I realize it will take some time, but last night we had an argument that seemed like a setback. When asked about the nature of his affair, he claimed he was unsure. I wanted to know exactly how it began and what was said to entice her to continue. He stated that he didn't think I should know that because of the time his son's mother had deceived him. When he learned the specifics, it made matters worse for him. Even after disputing and informing him, it seemed like his secrecy was even more dishonest. He promised not to share specifics with me until our therapist deemed it beneficial. I'm offended by this. I need to know so that I may proceed. I don't want to think about the terrible things I imagine, even though I'm not sure whether they are true stories. I'm curious to know. He could, of course, tell lies to keep me safe. Since I found out, I believe he has been telling me the truth. How come he gets to withhold the information from me? We have excellent fights, there is no teasing or insulting. Since we both tend to be analytical, we discuss our opinions. After a fight, we usually get along better and don't harbor resentment. It is unpleasant, though, if the arguments are not settled by sleep. This one is disgusting. I'd rather have more pleasant days than confrontations. I want to put this behind me and move on. I am aware that it won't go away entirely, but that's what I want to aim toward. He did promise to inform me everything I asked about in a text message that I just received. Thus, perhaps my case was persuasive. I do want everyone to know that, despite his claim that he did nothing physical, I had an STD test. Everything was received in clear condition. I never considered forcing him to go for testing. How could I have overlooked that? That's the next step, I suppose. He gave me access to everything. Then after our argument last night, he deleted his social media accounts. The last person remaining on his side, his mother, is the one I phoned. I notified her the day after I found out, but I'm not sure if Iapis is in a relationship, so I'd want to avoid dealing with her. Even though he allayed my doubts in September, I know that he hasn't spoken to her in months. I continue to spy and watch. Though it seems strange to me, I will give writing a letter a thought. He was excited to join an MC, which we started 2 weeks ago. I'm awaiting the responses to the queries. More information has been supplied by my spouse than he has directly responded to my queries. Considering that he has a severe addiction to porn and that I am aware of his methods for hiding things, I am aware of where to look, how to get deleted content back, and how to recognize inappropriate content if something seems off. When D and I got married, H had every right to gloat about the fact that he had never cheated and never would. Friends and family members repeated what he said without asking him to. Didn't convince me that it couldn't occur, though. I gather information in my own methods. This brings me to my next query. When I asked him whether he was having an affair back in September, he made me feel bad about it. I informed him that I needed to see the opus in order to determine whether or not I thought it was suitable for them to become friends. This request never materialized, so I started to get skeptical once more and soon learned about the affair. But DH informed me that he has requested a meeting with the opus. He was not going to inform me about the affair, mind you. She would, he said. Should I give her a call to discuss their affair? Or simply shut this door? Has anyone experienced this and can provide insight? This past Thursday, we had a major argument, and I got rid of him. To cut a lengthy tale short, he is required to take part in bonding therapy. I revealed his identity to his loved ones. He was furious, humiliated, and very ashamed, but it will make him answerable. He will be spending some time with friends and family. I had to give the AP a call on Thursday night to find out whether my husband was with her or if she had heard from him, but I did not want to call to discuss the affair. She informed me that she didn't have his contact information and that she hadn't heard from him in months, and afterwards texted me to promise to let me know if he got in touch with her that evening. My husband was going to commit XO, I thought. I gave her credit. I believe she was aware of what was happening. She even expressed regret to me. As a sort of resolution, it was enchanted. When I sent messages, inquired for account credentials, and noticed that my trash folders were empty, Vite arrived. He is addicted to porn. I'm aware that the affair was brief, but I'm not sure why he wasn't truthful and didn't think I would still accept him in spite of his addiction. It rendered it unworkable. I therefore ejected him and informed his family about the porn. I believe that brought him to his lowest point, and I'm not particularly religious or at ease discussing God. However, there has been significant spiritual development. It's been quite the rush. I'm not sure if this is hysterical bonding, but we seem to be getting along and making up. Though I'm all grins, I know there's work ahead of me. Still, I'm happy to have my friend back. After a few months, I've been thinking about this for a while. On my first E-Day, I found out that my WH had wined and dined another woman. Using a different bank account and his son's survivor's benefits, he paid for the supper. The mother of my stepson passed away a few years ago, and my WH is the account's legal guardian. He paid for the supper with the account, as WH informed me. My mind was always racing, wondering where they had eaten, what had happened next, etc. It had been eating at me, so tonight I summoned the courage to inquire about the survivor's benefits account. What more, if any, has he bought that I am unaware of? When I expressed my concerns to him about his using the account for his date with his AP, he asked if I would like to view the purchase receipts. With money, I'm a control freak now. Due to WH's poor performance, I handle our bank account, budget, and bill payment. If I give the account to him, things go into collections, and I don't want my good credit to be destroyed. Would you wish to view the account? Was not addressed in relation to his exclusive access to this account. He asked if I wanted to see my purchase receipts. I kind of forgot about it, but as we went to bed, I brought it up again. You're going to see purchases that you're going to question, he continued in an agitated tone. Huge red flag. And thus, D-Day number 2. He informs me that I will discover that the money is being spent on immoral things when I ask what I'm going to look at. Food and other nonsense. When I inquire about the last time he bought porn, he tells me it was about a month ago. His justifications for avoiding disclosing his everyday practices of porn addiction are that you always get mad when I fess up. So before he can say anything else, I call him out. When it comes to anything pertaining to our life together, you never give me the straight answer. You withheld this information from me and will use your fear of my resentment as an excuse for not telling me. I'm angry with you since you lied to me once more. You spent money for filthy films and who knows what more that you knew I couldn't access. Money intended for your son who is adopted and no longer has a biological mother. I didn't call the O until about a year after learning of my WH's pa. He said that he took action. Yes, he did. I suppose I had a gut feeling that two grown-ups becoming flirtatious in a hotel room would lead to more than just a kiss. After a year, I thought she would have had time to reflect, so I called her Leo. She seemed to have given it a lot of thought throughout that year, and I believe her apology, which I didn't ask for, was sincere. She began talking through tears as soon as I told her who I was over the phone. However, she was unaware that I was unaware that they had shared a bed. Since my WH lied about the bonding, I'm not too upset about it. I'm just angry with myself. When something feels or sounds off with my spouse, I'm going to follow my gut. In the past, I've always been correct. I'm married twice now. My stepson is 11 years old, and my daughter is 2 years old. Although I don't want a divorce, I also don't want to feel pressured to look into my husband's past in order to get the truth. He is aware that I am always looking for the truth. For crying out loud, it's my job. I'm not sure if I'm letting someone take advantage of me or if I'm hanging on to something truly wonderful. I'm not ready to break up with him, but I'm extremely tired of just not knowing what to do. We get along well, I adore him, and we have both made poor decisions together in our marriage. Just a year has passed since his infidelity, and I'm gradually moving on. I just wanted to take a minute to express my disgust at how everything happened, including the affair. In other words, I've heard wonderful tales of reconciliation that result in happy marriages. All I can hope for is that to be my fate. Regarding the fantastic, I believe my WH misled me because I had previously stated that cheating is unacceptable, and my first WH had cheated. My instinct tells me that he withheld the bonding from me. I would go because he was terrified. It's really awful. My best friend lied, and I thrive on the truth. A great deal. That's difficult to deal with and feels unpleasant. However, I have a great deal of compassion and forgiveness. I'm also sick of beginning afresh. I've turned around on him multiple times. It works well. Since their EIA culminated in a one-night pee, I am aware that the affair is finished. I've kept an eye on everything until my face turned blue. I used a car tracker and discovered that he is not well, referring to the incident's lying component. But you're on the correct track. He's done some extremely naughty things, and lying just makes them worse. However, I'm not going because I want to. Lucid, uncomplicated, and straightforward. When I'm ready and want to go, I will. Not right now. We have both decided to put a lot of effort into our futures and to improve our honesty since we both want the best for each other. Everybody lies about something, and we have both lied about stuff. I'm not going to quit up easily since I know he will lie once again. I don't think remaining will cost me anything. I'm hoping. A brief summary of history. My life completely changed for me and my WH. In less than a year, we bought a house, were married, and my stepson's mother passed away. After we had our baby, he began working in a totally different field at his new job. My daughter was diagnosed with Poland syndrome, which made us realize that we were both selfish and not focusing on nurturing our marriage. As a result, I fully understand why people tell me to leave. I quit my job, started an in-home daycare, which was crazy. He worked long hours. I was stuck with the kids. We went into serious debt. Blah blah blah. We resented each other and found other people to listen to us. After reading other people's posts, I want to fight to kick their WS in the butt. Do I believe my spouse is having an extramarital affair? Yes, especially if I permit the previous events to recur. Would I consider having another affair? Yes, I could see myself doing it if I don't get the attention I desire. I am aware that numerous things are possible. However, in my opinion, it all comes down to how much effort you are willing to put in. I am willing to put effort into improving my marriage because, when I'm content with my spouse, I like who I am. I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't want a fast fix to end our relationship. My family has been going through hell for the past year, but I'm not giving up because I want this. A wonderful marriage to someone I genuinely like. He's not always dishonest and he's not a nasty guy. And not always good, and my honesty isn't always reliable. And the other way around. I get to make this decision. I'm not supporting people who cheat. I'm in favor of a happy marriage. Remark. You are unique, I must say. I believe that both of you have low expectations and have regretfully had to deal with the consequences. You too, in my opinion, have poor bounds and believe that to be the standard. Slowly reveal the truth. Not to be cruel, but I believe that your husband ought to have left you when you had your affair. You ruined your marriage first, and he added to it with his own affair rather than ending it as the ill-fated facade it was. Your attitude about infidelity, lying, and marriage seems a bit twisted and manufactured. You're trying to perform an eye trick where you're staring at a massive cave that looks to be convex. My feedback is that while I thought Opus number 1 was great, I wasn't sure about Opus number 2. What are your thoughts on Opus number 2, guys? I've been trying pretty hard to upload every day, so please leave a comment and please subscribe. I'll see you in the videos tomorrow.